Dan Weiss for SARampage.com on location at the AT&T Center. Day 2 of training camp is in the books as we start to progress towards the opening preseason game Friday night at Cedar Park Center against the Texas Stars. Once again, it was a day of both on and off ice workouts. We also had our first scrimmage as well between Team Black and Silver, won by Team Black 1-0. A couple of news and notes. Colby Roback, the second-year defenseman who was reassigned by the Florida Panthers yesterday, arrived in training camp. He was on the ice today. Also of note, Michael Repic has cleared waivers. He's expected to report to San Antonio and potentially be on the ice as soon as tomorrow. We talked with a couple of different people today. Angelo Esposito, who's joining us here in San Antonio after spending the last couple of seasons in the Atlanta Thrashers organization and with the Chicago Wolves of the American Hockey League. He's looking for a new start. And we also spoke with new Panthers development assistant Cory Stillman, former NHLer and two-time Stanley Cup winner, on his thoughts on his new role. Dan Weiss back here at San Antonio Rampage Training Camp, day number 2, and I'm joined by new Florida Panthers player development assistant Cory Stillman, who I believe 17 days now since your retirement from the National Hockey League, 16 seasons. So is it too early to ask you if you missed the game?
You know what? No, and I'm not right now. I'm enjoying what I'm doing. I enjoy coming to the rink still. I've always loved the game, but it's time to move on and go back and helping kids, and this is a great opportunity for me to come here, come to the American League, add a little advice, and hopefully down the road 4, 5, maybe 6 of these guys end up playing in the National Hockey League as quickly as they can.
What prompted the decision to move into retirement?
Well, there's a lot that goes into it, a lot of family, all the reasons, and there's always a timing, and it was the right timing. There was an opportunity to move into a different position. One door closes, one opens, and this was the year to do that, and I was comfortable doing that. I walk away from the game with no regrets. I was fortunate to play on great teams, win 2 cups, play in great organizations, so it was an easy transition. Come ask me November, December, when the games are really going on, maybe that day I might have that itch to get back. But right now, I've stepped to the other side and really enjoy it.
You have a special relationship with the Florida Panthers organization, so to move into this role with Florida, I'm sure makes the transition a little bit easier, doesn't it?
It is easier. And on a side of, I spent the last 3 years actually there at every year at training camp. So coming here, coming back to an organization where I know a lot of the kids, from seeing them go back to junior for 2 years to play a year in the minors. There was a lot of familiar faces when I came back, a lot of things that I heard, throughout the year on what they can improve on, what they can do, and now I've got to make the best of my opportunity and try to fix that.
Talk about your level of comfort working with Dale, Mike, and with Brian Scrudlin, who's going to be your direct boss.
It's great. They're very open. They are trying to get me into this side of the game as fast as they can too. I know what's going on. It's a learning process too. From training camp, sitting down with the scouts, with the amateur scouts, the pro scouts, knowing what every hockey player I think in the world does at between the ages of 18 and 30. It's a big learning curve, and it was overwhelming at the start, to be honest with you. Whereas a player, you come, you worry about yourself, you get ready, you go on the ice and play. Here we look at our own team, we look at players on different teams, players who aren't drafted. So I had my eyes open, and but for them, they've been helpful. Anytime I need advice, I can pick up the phone and call them, and will be a great working relationship.
You won 2 Stanley Cups in non-traditional markets, so to speak, in the hockey lingo, in Carolina and Tampa Bay. You saw firsthand what this game can do to a market, when you go out and win. And I think it's interesting not only with your situation in Florida, but also here in San Antonio, 2 places where, hockey, I guess, isn't first and foremost on the mind.
Well, no, and playing in those cities, I can remember the first one in Tampa, getting traded from St. Louis Blues. I was averaging 20,000 fans sold out, going and playing Tampa, really, where there was 8,000, 9,000 fans at the game. But it goes all based on winning. If you continue to win, the people will come. And once they follow it, once you get to the game, once you understand the game, as players, we don't think there's no better game than this. But it's a matter of winning to draw people to the arenas. And once you get that, from a kid's sake, of young kids coming watching hockey, a lot of them enroll. A lot of them want to play. It's the up-and-coming game. And they have an opportunity here. We've got a good team here. The first thing is to get the team picked, make the playoffs, and then make it really big here in San Antonio.
Who are some of the kids that you're excited to be working with here this week and throughout the season?
Well, there's all kind. They're all different levels, right? There's guys who played in the minors. There's guys who have not. There's defenseman, Roback, Markstrom. Is not here right now. Whether he comes or not, he's playing 1 year in the minors. You have Jonathan Hazen. You have Angelo Esposito. The list goes on. And for me, it's just to come, try to pick out something, just one little thing that can improve them to make that next jump to the game. And you know what? They're all eyes and ears right now. They want to learn. Their goal, like anyone, is to play in the National Hockey League. You want to play in the best league in the world, and this is a stepping stone. And for some, we're unfortunate we have to play in the minors and then move to the NHL. Myself too, I couldn't make that jump right from junior. I came, played 2 years in the AHL, so don't be surprised here. You'll see the kids play this year, next year, and eventually they'll be back up in the NHL.
Is the best thing about not going through another training camp, but not having to do the wind sprints at the end of practice?
The skating, the testing. Out of all the years going through, the only day I dreaded was the first day of camp, the testing and the skating. But it's fun for these guys to come back through the training camp, get around the guys, get back into doing something that you'd love to do. You can suck that one up pretty quick.
Cory, thanks for spending a few minutes with us. Look forward to talking to you throughout the season.
Thank you.
That's Cory Stillman, Florida Panthers' new assistant for player development. We'll have more throughout the week here on SARampage.com.